expected, and
Right.
that's just beautiful. It's totally beautiful.
Yeah.
And your book is fantastic.
Thank you so
That's
much.
how I found out about you. You know, I read your book just recently, and
Uh-huh.
it just blew my mind because there's just like confirmation after confirmation that life can work out in so many different ways. And in some ways, it's much better that it did what it did.
Exactly. You might not know it at the time, but
Yeah,
actually,
it
yeah.
feels different, but Never Say No to a Rock Star is the book we're talking about. And
Yes.
gosh, when did you realize I actually do have to really write this? What was some of those deciding factors
In
writing the book?
when so um through the years, sometimes people would ask me questions, and I was always kind of embarrassed to talk about it. It seemed like name dropping
Hmm.
with Bob Dylan or whatever it was. And but I was always writing about different things, and I would always say to my current wife, who didn't know me when I was in the music business, I would say, I was a major cat. And she would say, "No, you weren't." I'd say, "No, I was." And so I had to
Sure
provide some
were.
evidence for that, right? So I decided to write the story of working on Blood on the Tracks with Dylan because I was the only person alive, I think. Oh no, Phil Ramone was still alive at that point. So I was one of two people alive who were present for all the New York sessions of the recording of Blood on the Tracks. And I thought that it was, I had some interesting stories to tell. So I wrote that as a blog post, and it exploded.
Oh, nice.
I didn't realize that there are a lot of Dylan freaks out there who want every detail and every piece of information about anything that Dylan has ever done. And so it just blew up, and
Cool.
and lots of people started writing me and saying, "Where's the book? Where's the book? You got to write the book." So I thought, okay, I got to write the book, and that sent me on that long journey. Also, I did have that experience at the beginning of the book that really did set me off in a way on that journey, where I was working with a client, and he brought in he asked if we could listen to a piece of music together because he was having trouble contacting his emotional life. And of course, I agreed. And the song that he chose to play was "Bridge Over Troubled Waters" with the Aretha Franklin version. And it was such an emotional experience for me. This is supposed to be for him, but it triggered something in me and triggered a whole set of memories about when I worked with Paul Simon 40 years before that.
Wow.
And I had, my old reel-to-reel tapes up in the attic and the old reel-to-reel tape recorder, and I just felt compelled to bring that down and listen to that old Paul Simon tape that I had, and suddenly all these memories started coming back.
Wow.
And I had this experience, and this is, I think, one of my intentions in writing the book is this experience of the sort of the dual existence that we lead. I was a dad of little kids living in the suburbs, being a psychotherapist, but in my mind there was all of that experience that I had of being in the music world decades before that only existed in my head. So I
Hmm.
could be in those two places at once, and that was one of the things that I really wanted to try to convey in the book, how we have our internal solo experience
Hmm.
while we're living in a world with other people, and how they overlap.
That's so cool.
So once those memories started coming back, I felt compelled to get them down on paper before I forgot all of it.
Yeah. So then, in your creative process for getting that book together, did you have journals to reference as well? Or did you take it purely by memory, and did you write on a regular basis, regular schedule? How did you make that happen?